Hello everyone, welcome to the Red Pills family and thank you so much for being here. My name is Benedicta and in today's video we are going to have an interesting discussion comparing wigs versus twist or braids. Which of these is helpful when it comes to growing out your natural hair? Let's get started. Yes, I wanted to find out which of these do you think is helpful or is relevant when it comes to growing out your natural hair. Let's keep this video interactive. It'll be interesting to know right from this onset of this video your thoughts in the comment section as we go along. So when it comes to wigs, installing wigs, it depends on what you do to install your wigs. For some people, they need to braid down their natural hair, have some cornrows installed or flat twist installed. Then when it comes to the wig, you need to, for some people, they apply glues all over their front area, okay, their edges. They apply glue over there before they apply, if it is a lace front wig, before they apply the lace front wig over there, and then style it anyhow they want to style it. But it's important to always wear a wig cap before placing your wig on, so that at least the cap protects your hair from the comb attachment, from the comb attachments that are in them. Most often you have about 3 combs that you need to push into your hair, and then there's a band that you need to fix really tight to ensure that your wig cap stays on. When it comes to braiding, installing the cornrow, it depends on who does it. If the cornrow is really tight, then it means that you should know that you are going to exert a huge amount of pressure to your hair follicles as it's being picked. You may end up losing some hair from your follicles, and if you do this repeatedly, then you are going to cause a lot of damage. You are going to get some bald spots all over your hair, depending on how tight this is done, and also you are going to experience some breakages and even balding on your edges and your nape area. So it depends on who does it. For me personally, I'm not really good when it comes to flat twisting, and I don't know how to cornrow my hair or even my kids' hair. I'm not good at that. So I just love to put my hair up in twists that I am very comfortable with. So I twist up my hair and just lay them down, place over my wig cap. So that is an initial step for me, avoiding any form of breakage or any form of tightness when it comes to my scalp, or to exposing my hair to severe breakage. It depends on your style. Generally, it depends on what you like. But please be cautious about the glue you use. If you need to research and find out those that are really good and doesn't cause balding or doesn't cause you to lose your scalp, please invest that time in doing your own research and finding out products that are good for you. So these are some of the few things to consider when it comes to wearing wigs. Generally, these are the few things to consider. And another thing is that if you wear a wig during the summer months, then you know how hot the weather is. You are going to sweat a lot under your scalp, and you need to wash your hair often, because as you sweat a lot under your scalp and the product you use mixes up with the sweat, it may end up clogging your follicles, and you do not want this to be the case. It's good to wash your hair often, more often than you generally would, because of the wig cap that has been placed over your hair and the wig that is placed over your hair. So you need to wash your hair more often, condition it well, give yourself breaks in between wearing your wigs, install other styles, and then you can go back to wearing it. It shouldn't be something that is repeated, otherwise you are going to experience these negative effects. Another thing to bear in mind, that you shouldn't go in for wigs that are so small on your scalp. It's going to cause you to have headaches initially. Headaches is going to cause you to lose your nape and your edge areas. It's going to cause you pain. You do not want to go through pain just because you want to look really good in a wig. So when we say that comparing wigs to twist or braids, it's important for them to install twist. So let's take a good look at twist or braids. So when it comes to twist or braids, you know that your hair is going to have direct contact with the extension that is being used, and your hair is going to be parted. So once there is parting, though, you know that you expose your hair for you to get some breakage in there if your hair is not blown out or straightened. Once the hairdresser or the stylist making your hair tries to part your hair with a sharp comb, growing up back in Ghana, whenever we go to the salon to make our hair, we see that the stylist break some number of teeth on the comb to have one that is really extended for them to make their part. And just learning much about hair now, I can recall that some of these are not really sharp and can expose your hair to breakages. So it's important that if you are getting your hair done, you check the stylist comb, try to have a conversation with them, try to know the things they are doing. If you are not comfortable with it, you need to speak up. Another thing is that your hair has to be held in smaller sections during the braiding process. It needs to be held sometimes really tight to make it appear, look, and stay fresh longer. So in the course of doing that, you're going to exert a huge amount of pressure to the hair at the roots. It may cause you to lose some hair from the follicles. It's going to just come off. You are not going to identify this easily, but you do identify it on the day that you take off your braids or your twist and try to comb out your hair. You see that huge chunks of hair comes out from your scalp, and then you know that you caused yourself a great deal of damage. Another thing is that during the process that your hair is intertwined in this hair extension during the braiding or the twisting process, you expose your hair to breakages as it is intertwined with it and it's been turned here and there. You can experience some breakages from that. Another thing that you need to consider is that most often when you get your hair at the hair salon, they braid your hair neatly, but sometimes that the ends of your hair is not all of the ends of your hair is not tucked in there. So in the course of trimming those loose hairs that they find, some of the loose hair that they trim may not be the hair extension, but rather your hair. The important thing to note here is that most of these hairstylists use regular pair of hair scissors to trim off your hair, not a pair of hair scissors. Then it means that they are exposing your own hair to damage using the pair of regular scissors, because when you use a pair of regular scissors to trim off hair, you don't get a precise cut. It leaves you with split ends and you end up going back home in a worse condition than you found yourself or you came initially. So sometimes after taking out your braid or taking out your twist, you find out that the ends of your hair is not as neat as it used to be, and you find out that you need to go for another trim when it wasn't the case before you had those twists or braids installed. So these are some of the things that you need to consider. Another thing is that the maintenance of your hair, when you install twists or braids, you cannot take it off easily before you wash it every week. Some people try to keep it in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then they wash it, or a couple of weeks and then they wash it. But I personally tried washing my twists and my braids. I think it was a twist installed back then and it didn't work for me. It didn't work well for me at all. So once I took out my hair was really matted, and I never attempted that. So whenever I installed my braids, I tried to use some braids spray to keep my hair at the scalp neat, to keep my hair moisturized. But to what extent is this going to help compared to someone who installs wig and has the opportunity to wash their hair easily? As we have previously discussed, both installing braids or twist or installing wigs depends on your lifestyle. They both expose our hair to an amount of pressure, the hair at the root to some amount of pressure depending on what you use. Both of them exposes our hair to some amount of breakage, to some amount of losing some hair at the edge and nape area, dependent, the point is depending on how it is done. So if you do it right, if you get a stylist who knows how sensitive your scalp is or how well your hair is able to stand pressure, then you are going to get the most benefits out of braiding your hair or twisting your hair. If you are able to get a stylist who tries to freshen up your braids with a pair of hair scissors, then you are going to not expose your hair to split ends resulting from using a regular pair of scissors. If you are able to get a stylist who takes the time to ensure that your ends are neatly tagged into the hair extensions during the process of braiding, then voila, you are in business. Yes, you are gaining much out of braiding your hair than someone whose hair is left out and snipped off with a pair of regular scissors. So basically, there is no, both of them are good depending on who installs it, how the kind of the amount of care that is put into installing it, and the aftercare that you give it after the installation. It's very, very important that you do not lose yourself taking good care of your hair, and just because you are keeping it in braids, just because you are keeping it in twists, or just because you are installing wigs. A lot of efforts have to go into keeping up your hair, into ensuring that it stays moisturized, and also in nighttime routines as well, when you install your twist, your braids, or when you have to put a wig over your hair. So generally, one does not supersede the other. It depends on who is installing it, the steps that are put in the installation process, and the steps that are used to maintain the hair. So please do share with us in the comment section what you think. Which of these styles do you think are beneficial? Which of these styles do you typically engage in? Or if you do not like to install wigs, twists, or braids using hair extensions, it will be interesting to know. Thanks so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share with your friends and families. Subscribe to the channel, and as always, you are a rebel because you are precious. See you in the next one. Bye.